Welcome to Finance at the Jobsite, the podcast where construction finance meets the field. I'm your host, Rishi Srivastava, founder of Beiing Human. In each episode, I sit down with construction CFOs, controllers, owners, project managers, IT leaders, ERP consultants, and industry experts to uncover how they connect the back office with the field, choose and implement technology, manage cash flow, and drive profitable projects. Whether you are running the numbers, leading the team, or designing the systems that keep projects moving, this is your place to learn what's working, what's broken, and what's next in construction finance.
Okay, we'll begin. Thanks for giving me an hour. Quick promise up front. This isn't a product pitch dressed up as a webinar. I run a construction finance software company, so yes, I have skin in the game. But what I want to do today is give you the honest version of where AI agents actually help in a back office and where they fall on their face. I use these tools every single day. Claude, a couple of agents I built, ERP migration tooling. So most of what you'll see is stuff I've actually run, not slideware. And I'll back it with two pieces of research, Meta's big public benchmark, and a paper my team just published on agents doing CFO-grade work. Let me tell you who's actually here, because it shapes how I'm going to talk. This isn't a general tech crowd. The bulk of you sign the checks and own the close, controllers, CFOs, folks at specialty contractors and GCs in that 10 to 1,000 employee range. Is specialty subs here, electrical, mechanical, concrete, marine, plus some CFMA leadership and ERP partners in the mix. So I'm going to not wow you with novelty. The currency in this room is trust, controls, and whether something survives an audit. That's the lens I'll use the whole hour. And rather than tell you agents work, I'll show you an agent doing ERP migration and an agent creating a job from an email. So here's the shape of the next hour. We start with workflows directly applicable to you, then get specific. What genuinely works right now, and then the part nobody likes to put on a slide, where these things still break. We'll ground it in the research and bring it home to your world, ERP, AP, project management, and finish on where this is headed in the next year or two, and how you get your team in front of it. 3 polls along the way to keep me honest and keep you awake. So the hype says agents are about to run your whole back office unattended. That's not what the research says, and it's not what I see in my own day. The truth is more useful and more specific than the hype, and frankly, more useful than the skeptics who say it's all nonsense. On the left, the stuff that already works. Think reading a messy scanned pay app and pulling the right numbers out, coding an invoice and matching it to the right PO and job, moving data from one system to another, drafting and summarizing. Notice the pattern: bounded, repeatable, and a human can check the work. On the right, where it breaks, anything on a clock, anything where the situation changes halfway through, anything ambiguous, anything where the system glitches and goes quiet, and above all, anything unattended and irreversible. The whole game today is putting agents on the left column with the person owning the right. That's not a limitation to apologize for. That's actually the design. Okay, time to wake up. Okay, first poll. The single best AI agent in the world right now on realistic everyday tasks, start to finish, no human help. What share does it actually complete? 90%, 75, 42, or 25? Drop A, B, C, or D in the chat. Be honest, not optimistic. So I'm going to watch what's going on in the poll. So let's see. C, D, C. Seeing lots of C's and B's. Okay. Anyone else wants to plug in 3? C, lots of C's. We got some really smart people here in this, I feel like. So let's go back to the deck one more time. So the answer is C, about 42%. That's the best model, GPT-5 as of last fall. Cloud was around 35. The best open source options around 21. So the frontier of fully autonomous everyday task completion is a coin flip. Worse than a coin flip, actually. This is from a benchmark called GAIA2, Meta's benchmark from last year. And the reason I trust it, it's not trivia. It's around 1,000 human-written scenarios in a simulated phone, email, calendar, contacts, files, about 100 tools. The agent has to read and write, take real actions. And here's the cruel part. The world runs on its own clock. Events fire whether the agent is ready or not, just like your month end. A competent human scores basically 100. No special knowledge needed. It's purely a test of reliability under real conditions. And the best machine gets 42. So let's talk about the shape of the failures. Now, where it fails is the useful part. Break the tasks into categories and a clear picture emerges. Following explicit steps, basically solved. Searching for information, basically solved. But the moment things get ambiguous or conditions change mid-task or a tool glitches, performance drops hard. And the worst category by far is anything time sensitive. On the hardest deadline tasks, even the top models score near zero. Not because they're dumb, because they think too slowly to act before the deadline passes. Here's the tell. Take away the thinking time penalty and the score jumps to around 30%. Read that back into your world. The agent isn't bad at the pay app or an OIS or payroll. It's bad at beating the clock, the cutoff time. Here's the part that surprises people. And it matters for your budget. The instinct is, if it's not reliable enough, throw a bigger, smarter, more expensive model at it. The data says that flattens out fast. More reasoning, more compute, diminishing returns almost immediately. And worse, the smarter models are often slower, which on a deadline task actually hurts you. So stop shopping for the highest score on some leaderboard. Shop for correct per dollar, the cheapest, fastest model that clears your accuracy bar. And critically, prove it clears that bar on your documents, not on a benchmark. That single reframe will save you real money. Let me pull back the curtain on what an agent even is. Because the world's overloaded. It does not answer in one shot. It loops. The exact way a good ERP migration consultant works. They don't guess the whole project. They check the actual data at every step. It plans, figures out QuickBooks data map into Vista. It actually moves a chunk. It observes, do the trial balance tie out. Then it feeds that back into the next plan. Again, plan, act, observe, feedback, around and around. 3 reasons this loop is built for your world. It checks real data at each step, so it hallucinates less. And every step is logged, so it's auditable. And it stops when something's off, instead of barreling ahead. That loop is the whole reason any of this is actually trustworthy. Now again, another poll to keep you guys awake. Now that you've seen the shape of it, which tasks makes today's agents fail the most? Pulling data from a clean PDF, searching the web, acting before a deadline, or following explicit steps? Vote in the chat, and we'll see if the research agrees with you. B, lots of C's. Nice. Okay, let's go back. Most of you got it. Is C. So I'm gonna come back to the answer. Again, it's C, so anything on a clock. But let me make all of these real because they are not abstract for you. Go one by one. So deadlines, like pay app cutoffs, lien waiver windows, draw schedules, moving targets. A change order lands while the agents make tasks. The PO gets revised, scope shifted. It doesn't handle the rug pull well. Ambiguity. 2 vendors with nearly the same name, a missing PO, coding rule that's all exceptions. Mess confuses it. Flaky systems. The ERP API times out, a sync is half done, a file's malformed. It struggles to recover gracefully. This is exactly why human in the loop isn't a weakness. It's the architecture. The agent does the grind. The person owns the judgment and the clock. So here's the real one from my week. We win a job, let's say, all the details, number, owner, contract value, dates, scope, they are sitting in an award email. Normally somebody hand keys that into Vista. Instead, I just tell the agent, we won this, make the Vista job from my email. It reads the email, pulls the fields, drafts the job record, and then it stops. It shows me every field. I review. Only on my say-so does it actually create. Again, the loop we just talked about, play out, plan, act, observe, feedback. And nothing is written until I approve. Again, that approval gate is the whole point. I want to play a short clip, a VC's take, because it reframes why this matters strategically beyond productivity. The one-line version before I hit play, when an agent can rebuild your entire ERP setup in a day, the switching cost that locks you into software just evaporate.
Dude, where the fuck is value in a world of Anthropic and Claude Code wiping billions of dollars off a stock market? How should I think about that?
You should think that cost of creating software is going down to zero. That's it. So, and that means that like everyone will be able to generate software at any point in time. So it is a massive change. And I was 100% convicted about this already when I saw this 1 or 2 years ago. So that's been very, very clear to me.
If the cost of software creation is going down, how do we determine which businesses have sustaining value versus which do not?
So the key thing right now is so far, the only thing that's gone down to, or not to zero yet, but become extremely much cheaper is the generation of software. The next thing that's going to hit everyone bad is the switching cost of data. Because so far what you're seeing is you have proprietary data stuck in, for example, the CRM vendor or the other software as a service that you're using currently. So you may replicate and build the same dashboard or build the same processes in your own tool, but all your data is in there according to their data model, according to their setup. What's going to happen is people are going to start solving that problem. How do I get all of my data from the existing vendor and move it to the new vendor with the help of AI through one click? That brings down switching cost, and that's when the real threat to SaaS comes.
So let's unpack that. Here's the thing about the vendor lock-in. It was never really the app. You can always find another app. The lock-in was the data and your custom integrations trapped inside one vendor. That's the moat. So what's changing, it is an open standard called MCP. Easiest way to think of it is USB-C for AI. You build a connector once and it works across Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. You're not rebuilding for each one, which means you can own the control layer and keep a swappable stack, change ERPs without burning a year. And the proof that this is real, not theoretical, is that migration itself has become an agent task. So the question I would put to every vendor to deal with, including me, can my data leave on open rails or am I locked in? Make them answer it. So this is the workflow I'm most excited about, and it's a textbook case of what agents are good at. Bounded and reviewable. Map the fields, move the history, reconcile, flag the exceptions that humans should look at. So for example, QuickBooks Desktop into Acumatica, QuickBooks into Vista, Sage 50 into Acumatica. They used to be year-long, hand-keyed ordeal that everybody dreaded. Now it's an agent task. And one of them we've open sourced as well. So you're welcome to take a look at it. Let me show you that one actually running. So extracting the data from Sage 50 and then start the migration. Again, in a real workflow, there may be exceptions where a human will come in, but most of the dreaded part, data migration, is automated. Okay. Now, so GAIO2 is a phone benchmark, brilliant, but it's emails and calendars. Nobody had built the equivalent for your books, so we did it. And we published it this month. It's published, it's live on archive, cs.ai journal. So it's called CFAgentBench. Over 1,000 tasks across the real finance stack, ERP, project management, AP, payroll, certified payroll, lien waivers, bank portals, Shoddy. And the key design choice is we grade on what actually changed in the system of record, not on what the agent claimed it did, but on what it actually did. So we didn't make these tasks up. Most of them are sourced from CFA Connection Cafe thread or from a podcast I host, from our actual customer conversations, emails, built around the standards you live in, G702, G703, WS347, 1099s, lease accounting. And it runs against 35 mock apps, Vista, Intact, Foundation, Procore, that reset every run, graded on whether the task functionally worked. So, and my favorite piece is the money movement guard. 278 tasks where the correct answer is to stop and stage it for human. If the agent executes the payment, even perfectly, it fails the task. So we made segregation of duties a scored outcome, not a hope. Just because one employee got really smart, it doesn't mean that the segregation of duties disappear. That's the thing an auditor wants to hear. So here's the finding I tattoo on every implementation plan. Run a task once, the best model gets 2/3 of them right. Sounds great. Now make it do the same task right 5 times in a row. The way any weekly process has to work, it drops to 38%. It loses almost half its win just by having to repeat them. And that's not one model, actually. Every agent we tested regrades the same way, from single shot to 5 in a row. The trivial baseline that does nothing scores 0 as it should. So the benchmark is honest. So, and there's a hard frontier where it gets brutal. Cross-system sync, AP invoice coding with COI payment holds. Every model drops to basically 0. These are exactly the high-value repeated workflows you'd most want to automate. So the lesson isn't don't automate, it's demand the 5 in a row number, not the demo number. Oh, and the whole sweep costs just about $5 to run. So there's no excuse not to retest every time a new model ships. So we've intentionally not tested it on like really expensive models like Fable or Opus 4.8. So this can be a repeatable test. Now a little bit about the model control protocol. So one piece of how it works is it actually explains the accuracy numbers. An AI has a fixed attention budget. And think of it as a limited amount of focus. Dump your whole job cost table in front of it, and it loses the thread and gives you wrong numbers. Hand it a narrow slice, and it's fast, accurate, and you can audit it. That's what MCP is. So the way you do this is basically a saved query the AI calls by name, where you predefined exactly which fields come back. So it's physically can't overpull. So ask for job cost on job 118, and you get the 5 clean fields, basically budget, actual, committed, not 5,000 rows of tape noise. Constraining what it can see is what makes it reliable. So again, that tells you that less is more, literally. here's all of that paying off in something you'd actually want Monday morning. An agent pulling from 3 different systems, let's say your ERP, your estimating, your field reports, and through those narrow MCP slices and producing a finished weekly job cost variance report at 7 a.m. every Monday before anyone's had coffee. And it doesn't just summarize, actually. It flags tasks, order bleeding 42 grand and tells you the fix. File the change order claims before the contract deadline. It surfaces unbilled work before it ages into a write-off. And you can just ask it to follow up in English. No dashboard, no pivot tables. That's the works today bar. Bounded, reviewable, genuinely useful. So this isn't me predicting the future. It's actually already happening. In fact, very fast. Jobtread shipped the native AI connector in April this year. 2,500 companies connected in under 2 months, their fastest growing integration ever. inGenious built first-party MCP across schedule, budget, RFIs, contracts, invoices. And importantly, it honors each user's permission. And as of this month, that includes us. We just launched our own MCP server, so you can point Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini at Being Human. With every change validated and logged, the pattern's clear. Your project and finance systems are becoming places agents can act, not just read. So here's a workflow nobody loves, but everybody owns: permitting. It's the perfect stress test for an agent because it's everything we've been talking about in one place. It's repetitive and form heavy, which is the part an agent is great at. But it's also on a hard clock and spread across a dozen jurisdiction portals that all work differently, which is exactly where they get dangerous. So the right shape here is let the agent do the grind, gather the documents, pre-fill the application, track expiration and renewal windows, flag what's coming due. But the actual submission, the thing with the deadline and the legal weight, a human presses the button. The agent makes sure you never miss a permit deadline. It doesn't get it to file on its own. Same pattern as everything else I've been talking about. Agent on paperwork, human on the clock. So now I know some of what some of you are thinking. Half my systems don't have an API. This is irrelevant to me. Watch this. When there is no API to connect to, the agent just uses the computer the way a person does. Clicks, types, navigates the screens. It's a bridge for all the legacy no API tools construction still runs on, where the clean connection can't reach. This can.
I'm Pooja and I'm a researcher at Anthropic. I'm going to show you a simple example of computer use today. My friend's coming to San Francisco next week and I want to take him to do some touristy stuff. I think doing a sunrise hike with a view of the Golden Gate Bridge never gets old. So I'll ask Claude to figure out some logistics for us. I'll ask Claude to find a good place to see the sunrise, to help me figure out timing logistics, and help drop a calendar invite so I remember when I have to leave. It's opening Chrome, going to Google, searching, and it looks like it's found something. Great. So how far away is the location from my place? It's opening maps, searching for the distance between my area and the hiking location. Cool. So now it looks like Claude is searching for the sunrise time tomorrow and is now dropping it into my calendar and populating it with some details. Great. It looks like Claude did it. This is a simple example, but we're sharing computer use early to learn from what people build.
Quickly, so this is our third poll, and this, in my view, is the most important one. I would love people to participate in this one. So this one's the real conversation. Where would you let an agent run today? Pick all you're comfortable with, draft invoice coding for review, migrate history to a new ERP, post to the ERP unattended, or file something on a hard deadline alone. A, D, Matt saying A, D, Nate saying A, Steve saying A and B, A and B. Nobody said D. Actually, Matt said D, I think. Did anybody say D? Matt, would you elaborate what you're thinking?
I think there's a lot of deadlines with regards to, fairly simple things, COIs and things like that, where they just need to get, sent to customers or vendors. I think that's a task that it's not a, I don't think, I think we could do it alone, let the AI do it alone just because, I don't think there's a downside really. If it misses, we just get reminded. So for that kind of a task, I think it would work good.
Okay. That makes sense. Are there some tasks in the category D that you would not let an AI run?
I think something, more like, my payroll taxes, or something of that nature where there's some significant ramifications if something isn't right. I think those kinds of things just need to be reviewed, or even payments, like payroll tax payments, things of that nature. I'd want to make sure that they're verified before they get done right.
Yeah, makes sense. So A and B definitely lit up, and C and D mostly they stayed in dark. So Mary, do you want to tell us what type of tasks you're thinking for C? Mary Double, Mary, or also said D. I'm kind of interested because these a task that's kind of risky in some ways.
So basically, if you're looking at C post to the ERP unattended, that'll be transactions that went across different modules, automating the posting after it's gone through. Let's say you're doing pro forma invoicing or whatnot, and that process completed, having it automatically post to the AR, for example, would be something that wouldn't be, in my opinion, a problem.
And who was speaking? That was
Mary. Yes.
Mary, thank you. Yeah. Anybody else wants to give us their take? Nate, what are you thinking? I'm kind of picking on people, but I would love somebody giving some insights here.
Hey, I'll go ahead and give you kind of a rundown of what I was thinking. This is Veronica. So you can do just about anything with it as long as you have, if it's, obviously agents are created on a loop. So it's going to keep going back and forth until it's correct, which is the difference between agents and like your chatbots and stuff like that. So as long as you have that plugged in, then as long it's going to check to make sure that it's correct before it does anything further. So that's kind of a stopgap between, everybody saying, I want to make sure that it's correct before it posts to either the ERP or the invoice goes out or anything like that. That's kind of my take on, you can do almost anything you want with it, and however you want it to post or, leave it in the saved but unposted so you can audit it later. The ERP has an audit trail so you can go back and say, yep, all of these things were done, correct. And so that will kind of help you on that stopgap of the agent.
Yeah. Wherever you have a clear audit trail and the consequences maybe are minimal for an agent to make mistake.
Yeah, I don't know how many people go back and look at their audit trail, just checking on, even when humans are doing all the things, but looking at the loop, the whatever harness you're using, and the loop system, that it's checking to make sure that it actually did what you asked it to do correctly. To execute that, then it would keep going and going and passing between your different parts of your agent, how you've designed it in order to make sure that's correct before it does post to ERP or email or invoice or whatever it is.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Veronica. That was a good one. Anyone else wants to chime in? Dwight, do you want to say something?
So, for us, we're very risk averse, so we are focusing on low risk activities, and one of the reasons I like the benchmark you create is the fact that the agent fails if it completes the transaction is
Mhm.
super attractive to a finance team who are generally risk averse. So,
Yeah, thank you. Actually, money movement is the riskiest part because once the money goes to the different company, it's hard to get back if it's wrong. Anyone else wants to chime in before we go to the next slide?
Richard trying to determine where we're
Mhm.
going to let an agent run.
So what is your general thought process, Doug? I know you've been thinking very hard in last several months.
Yeah, I think the sliced data where it's controlled seems to be the route that may bring some, I mean, it's all going to bring value, don't get me wrong. But I'm with Dwight on a very conservative move forward. So we're trying to figure out the best way that we can pull that data together within our systems. And we're feeling pretty confident that we'll be able to pull it. Our concerns will be more in the relation of making sure the data is accurate, making sure the information's being pulled, and that, less is more, it seems.
Yeah. The MCP, right? The query tool which only lets AI get a small portion of your whole data at a time. Yeah. You're really forward thinking, and Doug, thank you, and Dwight and others here who've chimed in. So I'm going to go to the next slide here. So if you want to actually deploy one of these and be able to defend it in an audit, here's the 4-step version. So number one is start bounded. One workflow, clear inputs, a clear definition of done. Resist the urge to boil the ocean. Number two, put the human on the exceptions. Let the agent grind the routine 80%. Your people approve the unusual stuff and anything on a deadline. Number three, keep the audit trail. Every action logged. Segregation of duties fully intact. If you can't reconstruct what happened, you're not done. And number four, prove it on your data before you scale. Measure accuracy, cost, and cycle time on your real documents. The demo doesn't count, your books do. A quick word on why I get to say all this. We are not a general AI company that wandered into construction. We are certified on Trimble App Exchange with real-time two-way integration. We have integrations with major construction ERPs. We are built specifically for construction documents, like AP invoices, G702, G703, pay apps, delivery tickets, credit card receipts, vendor statements, PO matching. And we are live with specialty subs and GCs today, and your data stays yours and encrypted. So, and many of you I know from the podcast, Finance at the Jobsite, which is just me having these same conversations with the CFOs and other leaders in this room. So if you forget everything else, keep these three things. This is a today thing, not a someday thing. On bounded, reviewable work, AP, migration, drafting, agents are reliable right now. Number two, keep humans on the clock. They break on time-sensitive, messy, unattended work, and reliability collapses on repetition. Remember, agent reliability does go down if you run the same tasks over and over. In fact, 2/3 drops to a third when you're asked for 5 in a row. And number three, open beats locked in. Demand evals on your own data and open protocols. Own the control layer and you keep your freedom to switch. That's the honest version. Thanks for spending last 45 minutes. Now I'd rather hear from you than keep talking. We still got 15 minutes. Questions, pushback, war stories, especially the war stories. Where has this burned you? Where are you curious? My email and the podcast are on the screen. And if you want to see the AP workflow live, that link will take you there. Who wants to go first? Anyone wants to share a war story with us? Someone. Dwight, you want to share a war story?
Yeah, so we've been doing a fair amount of experimentation, and like I said, we've been starting with really low risk tasks. Like the lowest risk task was answering questions from internal users. And for that, we kind of ran that for a month or two and had really good response, and it freed up a lot of time where it's like, oh, I don't have to go actually get all the details. And so for us, it's really not a big reveal. We're like taking small steps into deploying AI agents. And like I said, I'm not sure I will be alive when we actually allow a AI agent to complete a transaction. That may be a bridge too far, and if so, that's fine. If my team is basically focused on going in, approving, and executing, so much the better, right? That works for me. But there is a level of trust that has to be earned, because like going in and saying, yeah, it's going to be fine, just trust it.
Yeah.
That really does not resonate. People have to see it, and there has to be some kind of track record. Because if you're like, oh well, we tried it 5 times and it worked fine, it's like that's not enough. And the larger the transaction, the more risk there is, the more reticent people are going to be, because if something screws up, who's going to be cleaning it up, right? It's not the AI. The AI is not going to clean up the mess, right? It's going to be the actual people on the team who have to go clean it up. So we've been very, very careful about not rushing it. And I'd rather get there, and I'd rather take more time and get more comfort than get there quickly. Rishi, one of the things I like about your style is that you're not like, come on, let's go do everything right now. It's like, no, let's take some low risk activities and get those going and get some comfort, and then we can go in and see what do we do next. But I really think that agent adoption is going to be it's going to take place over many months, not many weeks. And I'll stop rambling there, Rishi.
Oh, so well said. Right. Again, construction finance, generally, we are a very conservative industry, and we have to be. This is not some simple stuff we're talking about. This could be grave consequences for agent making mistakes here. Matt, you want to say something?
You got I appreciate everything you presented today. It's got my wheels spinning. I have a few ideas that are being generated just from the discussion. It's been helpful, but you just I appreciated you pointing out the items that are repeatable, where there's a kind of a set of dues. There's just simple things where we get an email from a vendor or a customer and says, hey, we need an updated, whatever it be, like a form 300A from you. We just go through this process. Okay, thanks. We'll attach that to an email, and send it on. To me, it's a pretty low risk thing, but that's something that, we could just have an agent pick up and look for those requests and send it over. We don't mind our customers seeing that, so it's really low risk. And I think that's just one of many examples of things that are out there that we just got to kind of concentrate and see what are all these things that we are, especially where we get a volume of these kinds of requests, that we can be able to automate through agents. So anyway, appreciate getting my juices flowing today.
I'm glad. And one thing I really like about you is like you could think of things that I'm like not even aware of. So thank you so much, man.
You're welcome.
Kevin, you want to say something? Kevin Jacobs? Are you Kevin? Yeah.
No, I tell you, Rishi, there are so many ideas that came out of this, but as you know, I'll tell everyone on the call that I've recently started a new position with a new company, and they're still in. I mean, they're 5 years old now, but they're still in startup mode as far as moving from all of their activity being captured in multiple Excel files, and trying to get them to think in the mode of changing their process to using the ERP to its full potential, and then bringing in someone like you with your ideas to layer AI on top of it, then make the processes even easier and less error prone once everything is worked out. So I've got a lot of ideas, and I want to talk to you about them, but right now I'm trying to get these contractors to think in, because you know as well as everybody on here that construction is about 20 years behind on technology implementation, and I believe these guys are a little further behind than that. So I've got a lot of ideas, but I'm shrinking from a fire hose right now. I'm trying to get to a point where you can come in and it makes sense to you to initiate this AI, these AI ideas.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. I mean, construction does tend to be behind, and like there's a lot of forward-looking leaders here, but this industry is definitely, I feel like can need some changes here. I see Jana. You want to say Jana Barthoff? You want to say something?
Hi, Rishi.
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say. I'm mostly just listening to learn, Rishi. But yeah, we have just recently decided to go with Beiing Human, and we're excited to see what we can gain from it, from the use of it.
And thank you, Jana. Anyone else wants to say something? Allison, maybe? Allison Sawyer?
Can I ask Jenna why she decided to go with Beiing Human?
Yeah, of course.
I didn't mean to put her on the spot again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. We've looked at a lot of different AP automation solutions, and actually, I think Rishi was one of the very first people we met with, and then we started looking at a lot of different things, and either some of them don't integrate well with Foundation, which is what we use, and others of them were very expensive or new, and we felt like there were going to be hang-ups and problems. And I think the thing that finally threw it over the edge where we went with Beiing Human is on the CFMA cafe. You'll see lots of positive comments about Beiing Human, and I just don't really see those about other companies out there. And so we just thought we'd take a chance with Rishi.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, Rishi, if I could just add to that, I have been an AP automation customer for over a year now, and it has been a real game changer for us. So, so anyway, I just want to throw that out there for anyone who's thinking about that. It's really been a real help has saved us a lot of time, has improved accuracy, and being able to get approvals done quickly has been very, very well. Beiing Human has really helped us improve that a lot.
Thank you, Matt. We got another 4 minutes. Anyone else wants to add something to this?
Yeah, I'll throw something out there. We're looking at trying to make sure we have our checksums compared to our data, so that our process for financials or job costing or whatever that is going to stay the same while we're trying to implement some of these AI things, and always having that checksum built into the process so that it's always referring back to that fixed, non-hallucinogenic data. And it's going to be a long-term process, but I feel like that's going to be key for us at least in our business and our audit world. And we're just starting with Rishi, although Rishi and I have known each other for a number of years. We're just starting the AP automation with him, and we're looking really forward to it.
Thank you, Doug. Yeah, the MCP and the sliced amount giving to AI, that's so important because the attention budget of the AI falls rapidly if you're not careful. Thank you so much, everyone. I will let you guys have your 2 minutes, and we'll touch base here soon with a lot of you.
Thank you, Rishi. I enjoyed your talk today.
Thank you.
Yeah, good discussion today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rishi.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank
Bye.
you, Kevin.
Thanks for listening to Finance at the Job Site. If you found today's conversation valuable, share it with a teammate and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. You can listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch on YouTube. Just search Finance at the Job Site. Until next time, here is to building smarter, faster, and more profitable projects.